Were you guys bummed out that that Batman didn't show up?
No.
No, because the movie wasn't great and it wasn't going anywhere. So I wasn't disappointed that Affleck didn't show up. I'm like, I would like to see the scene still, but I'm like, this is going nowhere. I'm just like, okay,
Does it matter that it went nowhere?
yeah. I guess you and Joe say superhero movies don't need to hint at the future. They could be self-contained. But you know what?
DC
When
movies were
they hint at other
self-contained for
things, they bring
years.
in box office.
That's not
And it's
true.
just there wasn't
What
anything.
happened to the
Even for
Marvel
Aquaman
universe?
here, like, do you want, even if you like the movie, do you think you want to see a third one after that ending?
Uh,
Yes.
yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I mean, and once again, it's just like once again, I think it's Marvel conditioning us to expect certain things from comic book
Hmm.
movies, and it's like I like it's nice if like if certain things to set up to other things, but like I don't need that. I just want a good movie, you
And
know?
in the last what decade of DC movies, it's not like they set up the next movie or next universe really well anyway. A lot of
It
stuff was
did it.
promised and never happened.
Yeah, so it's like I'm just sick
They
of empty promises at this point. You just don't set up to anything if you can't follow through on it. You know, I'm already starting to fall out of love with this Snyder cut movement. Like restore the Snyderverse. I'm falling out of love with it. I really am. It's really frustrating, especially after Rebel Moon.
Well,
So it's like,
here's my thoughts on it. If they're not going to just do Justice League 2 and do Darkseid, I really don't care to see Wonder Woman, Aquaman 3, and all these other supplemental movies in the universe, honestly, based on what they did with the second movies.
I mean, you're right about the. I get you. I get you on that. I get you
I
on that.
mean, if they brought them all back together and said this is a Justice League movie, and you could see Momoa, Gal, Cavill, Affleck, and even Ezra all together again, then I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'd love to see that. But if they're still
especially when
going to
you
do their own
es-
separate stories and then do a it's like continuing what at this point? That's
They
what I.
have their own
What are we
journeys. They have
continuing?
their own stories. Like it shouldn't just be like, oh, these movies exist because we're just making a team up movie. That's not how you should make films. Like that's
that's
not.
why the first one flopped because they rushed into Justice League.
That's why Batman v Superman was as messy as it was. Like I know people
Well, I
love
mean,
the
we
movie,
left
but
it at a really cool point after the Snyder cut. Well, actually, after both cuts, Dark Side was coming.
kind of with Justice League. But yes, I get it.
It
I
is
was
the same story. I think
I
it was done better in the Snyder cut, but it ends the same, where the Justice League forms to take out a big bad, which is still Steppenwolf. The only difference is at the end, they show Darkseid through the boom tube. But basically, the Justice League is together to protect the Earth and the
okay.
universe.
Okay, but they don't. Doesn't mean they have to do everything together because that doesn't happen. Like they sometimes have their own stuff going on, you know. So it's like I don't know. This is what it's saying. You see how Max is thinking. You see he's fried.
Yeah,
His
I
brain is
want to see
fried.
great villains. Darkseid is a really cool villain.
I do too. I was with you. I was with you. You can go back to my podcast and
Yeah.
other times
when are
I
you
talk
gonna
about it.
finally give
I
up
was
and
with
just
you.
say it's over?
What,
It's
on
over,
seeing
Max.
Darkseid?
Yes.
I'm not. I want to see Darkseid.
I want to see Darkseid, but guess what? We probably won't see Darkseid now for another 10 years in the
I
DCU
was,
if James Gunn will get
Ava
there.
DuVernay. I was excited to see that too. Although, we got the Snyder Cut version.
I mean, I didn't trust Ava DuVernay to do New Gods after a wrinkle. in
Okay,
Time.
anyway, the end of the Snyder Cut was a lot more interesting than the Aquaman 2,
Yes, yes, okay,
where it leaves
yes,
off, and where the potential for the future is.
sure, yes, but I enjoyed myself regardless. I enjoyed Aquaman regardless. Whether we had a cool mid-credit scene, whether we had a cool ending setting up to a bigger thing, doesn't matter. I still enjoyed the movie. I still
I mean,
enjoyed.
that's the hook of these movies. It's like a soap opera, somewhat, is you hook in the audience to say, "Oh, you need to see what happens next," and there's not that hook here. At the end, I was just like, okay, at the end.
What you thought was going to happen at the end? That they were going to bring
Did you
back
really want them to
everyone?
set up, even though
There
we
would
know
be a
it's the
Justice
end?
League.
Did you want them to really set up
Yeah, I
something
wanted
that's not
that.
going to happen? That's not going to happen?
I'm Max. I want that.
Like, let's say this, because you know this is the last DCEU movie. Say that you loved the film. Did you still want them to set up to something that's not going to happen?
I just didn't feel anything at the end.
I'm sorry you didn't feel anything, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you did.
Like I'd feel like I want to see another adventure with this character, this version of Aquaman. I didn't.
Well, there's the thing, because they know, James Wan knows, those actors know, the other people working on the movie know, James Gunn knows, this is the last Jason Momoa Aquaman movie we're going to get. So this was their.
They didn't know that when they were making it.
Okay, then they would have kept the Ben Affleck scene.
Okay.
If they didn't know that, but just like. This is their send off to the character. That was it. Like, and so if this is the send off to the character, if they're not going to set up to other things, don't give me no stingers. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't give me false hope. Don't give me another Superman at the end of Black Adam. Don't give me Wonder Woman at the end of Shazam 2. Don't give me none of that. Just send off the character and send me on my way. And that's what it did. That's what it did. I don't know. Like, man. Go ahead,
Max. It's like you're on a merry-go-round. You keep going round and round, hoping things change, and you're never getting off. You have to get off at some point and realize you can have self-contained movies without something happening at the end.
I think the MCU succeeded because it wasn't just that, and that it went towards Thanos and Endgame, and it was a very exciting build-up, and that's why it was so successful.
But also because they were good movies with good characters and good storytelling for the most part. So, like, you can't just have the setup. Like, we can't just have the setup and then just be like, oh yeah, people are going to see more, because we've seen other cinematic universes be reliant on setting up to other things, and they crash and burn. Dark Universe. So, come on now. Even the MonsterVerse. Probably the second most successful cinematic universe right now. They're like
they had Godzilla goes against Kong.
Yeah, but they were okay. Oh, actually, okay. Let me take that back, because they did have certain thing teasing that. They had one thing.
But you got to realize there are a lot more Godzilla movies than there have been DCU movies over the last 50 years. So there was a foundation
for the
this to
MonsterVerse.
happen.
But they were also those movies were standalone films as well. They weren't just like a lead into here comes
they
this.
Were building building blocks with Monarch and everything.
Yeah, Monarch.
And they gave teasers at the end.
There was one teaser at the end of Kong Skull Island, and that was it. That was it. Everything else was self-contained.
They basically did the PVS with Kong. With Batman vs Superman, with Kong versus Godzilla, and they succeeded.
And
then they kept going. They didn't get cold feet.
Well, that was a better movie.
Yeah, they were self-contained stories. Even like they did what Phase 1 did. They did okay. All right, bye. But they did what Phase 1 of Marvel did properly. Yes, they had little teases here and there, but that wasn't focused on that. They were focused on making a good movie with good characters and good storytelling. They were focused on their own movies first and set up second. That's what they need to do, And that's what I hope James Gunn will do going forward. Storytelling is key. That's what he says. So I hope that's what they implement going forward.